Alright guys, today is the day we put the rear differential skid plate on our Pilot. As you can see, I'm back in the driveway and we're going to get this thing bolted up. Items you're going to need are as follows. You are going to need a 14 millimeter and you're going to need a 13 because that's an M8, and you're going to need a 10. That's all you're going to need. Now, I've already pre-assembled the bottom part of this. I'm going to try the installation this way, where we have this partially assembled, and then we'll actually mount the rear of the plate first and then mount the front. So we're going to give that a go, see how it plays out. So to start this process, we're actually going to remove the outermost 14 millimeter bolt as well as this 14 millimeter bolt out here. So we're going to remove those, and then we're going to remove these 10 millimeters that are on the cover here, the differential. Those are also going to come out. Now, to be fair, this one is a little tricky to get to because there is not a direct path below it. So I actually just pulled the exhaust a little bit off to the side and then broke the bolt free that way. But you may want to use an open-end boxed in or something else along those lines to do this mount work. Okay, so now I have both of these 10 millimeters out. We're going to reuse these because they've got plenty of thread on them. So those are going to get reused on both sides. I'm going to bring the plate in and hang it off of those, and then we're going to try and swing it into position. I have never tried this before, mounting it this way, but I think it might be the simplest moving forward. Okay, so we've got the back end. These are finger tight. Now, I did have to swing it around the front portion of the differential just a little bit. This is just loose on here, so I do like that. It still has room to move and float. And then we're going to put in the other bolt up in here. See that up in here? So we're going to go around a few things that are in the way here, and then do the installation from here. So it will start threading. It is a little tricky to get your hand in here, admittedly. There's not a lot of real estate to fit your hand in here. So but either way, that's not that bolt, clearly. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get this one threaded in, tighten up the rear last, and then we're going to tighten up these on top. That'll be the next thing to do. Alright guys, so I ended up having to convert to an open-end boxed-end wrench to get these tight up here and over. I can't really even see it up in here, but over in here as well. So there isn't a lot of room, like I mentioned before, to get to it from below. And then this corner of the plate, I wanted to have as much coverage over top of this specific box as possible, so the plate actually hides right up against it in here. So these are tight up here. I'm going to go ahead and throw the wrench on here and snug these down at the rear of the plate. They're just an M6 bolt, so don't get carried away. That 8 to 10 foot-pound range is all you really need. So use the slow end here to put this on, but it'll work itself out. So just snugging them up. I'm not trying to set the world on fire with the tension that's on them. This one's a little trickier to get to, thankfully. Just keeps it nice and interesting as you're staring at nothing from the camera side of things. So you do have a very small window. You could easily bring a 10 millimeter in from over here if you wanted. I just don't feel like grabbing one, but something to note. Alright guys, so I still have to tighten these up. Admittedly, this one, there's a lot of really awkward fitment things as far as everything fits like it's supposed to. It's just really hard to get to access to all the bolts. These 10 millimeters are by far the simplest. The 14 millimeter up here is equally tricky to get to, and then to tighten these down. I did have this mounted and they're almost snug, but there was just a little bit of float left in them when I installed it. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do that while holding the phone with the other hand here, so we'll see how this goes. But pretty much the plan will be to go over top of the plate and the arm and then grab onto it, and then you can theoretically tighten it up, but instead it's not snug enough for it to ratchet, so I'm going to see if I can't tighten it up anymore or not. But either way, so that has to be tightened. I'm going to go tighten that and we'll do a little breakdown review. Alright guys, we are fully installed and tightened down. You do have, I maintained this area cut out here in the back, just so that way you could fit your jack puck on here, and as well as the drain plug. I felt like this is going to have oil run right down, which is why there's this additional little bit cut out here. That way you don't have to remove it when you want to do service. Same with the drain plug up here, giving you room to do work. I'll show you what it looks like from the front, so let me slide up here. So we are still up above the gas tank, which isn't a bad thing, and you know, trying to give a little bit different style design for this part just to give it the best we could. So that's here. You got that covered. You've got your control module covered back here. That way at least this will take the beating first, and then this is what it looks like from behind. I feel like it is a little bit low, but it was just the best way to make everything fit in here for you guys. So that's where it's at. We may end up someday, I may adjust this in the future, I don't know. Always looking for feedback and implementing it, but this is a excellent plate and looking forward to putting some scratches on it. All right, see you guys.